The rain pounded Seattle's streets like a drumbeat of defiance, but Marcus Kane stood unshaken, his tailored suit clinging to his broad shoulders as he stared at the glass doors of Pinnacle Ventures. Inside, the boardroom buzzed with whispers of betrayal, their voices slicing through the storm's roar. They'd told him, the black, gay CEO who'd built this empire from nothing, to wait outside like a stranger in his own house. But Marcus wasn't waiting anymore. At 32, he'd learned the world didn't hand out second chances. You carve them out yourself. 1 minute later, he'd walk back in and fire every single one of them. Rain be damned. Marcus hadn't always been the titan of Pinnacle Ventures. 10 years ago, he was just a kid from Oakland with a laptop and a dream, coding in a cramped apartment while his mother prayed he'd find his way. He did, through sleepless nights and a fire in his gut to prove the world wrong. By 30, he'd turned Pinnacle into a tech juggernaut, its AI-driven platforms revolutionizing small businesses across America. But success came with shadows. The board, a clique of old-money suits, tolerated his brilliance but sneered at his identity. Too young, too black, too open, they'd mutter, thinking he didn't hear. That rainy afternoon, Marcus stood outside the boardroom, his breath fogging in the chill. The call had come an hour ago, an emergency meeting to discuss company direction. He knew what it meant. They wanted him out, replaced by someone who fit their mold of a CEO. Someone less him. His phone buzzed. A text from Javier. "You got this. Mi amor. Show them who you are." Javier Morales, 29, was the artist who'd stumbled into Marcus's life 6 months ago at a gallery opening in Capitol Hill. With his quick laugh and paint-splattered jeans, Javier was everything Marcus wasn't. Free-spirited, unapologetically vibrant. His murals adorned Seattle's walls, stories of struggle and hope in every stroke. Their first date had been under this same rain, sharing a soggy pretzel and dreams of a world that didn't judge love. Marcus pocketed his phone, jaw tight. Javier's words were a lifeline, but the board's betrayal cut deep. He'd given Pinnacle everything, his vision, his nights, his heart, and now they wanted to erase him. He pushed through the doors, rain dripping from his coat. The boardroom fell silent, 12 pairs of eyes staring like he was an intruder. Chairman Harold Vance, a silver-haired relic with a permanent smirk, cleared his throat. "Marcus, we appreciate your passion, but we've decided to pivot. Effective immediately, we're appointing Richard Langley as CEO." Richard, sitting smugly at the table's head, was a walking stereotype of corporate America, white, straight, and utterly uninspired. Marcus's pulse thundered. "You're firing me? From my company?" Harold's smile was ice. "It's not personal. It's business." Marcus's laugh was sharp, dangerous. "Business? I am Pinnacle. You're nothing without me." He scanned the room, memorizing every face. "You're all fired. Effective now." Gasps erupted. Harold's face reddened. "You can't. I own 51% of this company." Marcus cut in, voice like steel. "Check the bylaws. I can, and I did." He turned, rain still dripping, and walked out. The storm outside felt like a baptism. The news hit Seattle like lightning. "Pinnacle CEO fires entire board in dramatic showdown," screamed the headlines. Ex-posts exploded, some calling Marcus a hero, others a reckless egomaniac. He didn't care. He'd done what he had to. But as he sat in his penthouse that night, the city's skyline glittering through the rain-streaked windows, doubt crept in. Had he just torched his legacy? Javier found him there, staring at nothing. "You okay, Corazon?" he asked, slipping onto the couch beside him. His curly hair was still damp from the rain. his scarf a burst of color against the gray evening. "I don't know," Marcus admitted, voice raw. "I built this for people like us, people the world overlooks. But what if I just made it easier for them to tear me down?" Javier took his hand, fingers warm and steady. "You stood up for yourself. That's not just for you. It's for every kid out there who feels invisible." Marcus looked at him, the weight of Javier's words sinking in. Javier wasn't just his partner. He was his mirror, reflecting the courage Marcus sometimes forgot he had. They'd met when Marcus, exhausted from a board meeting, wandered into Javier's gallery show. One painting, a vibrant explosion of color showing two men embracing under a stormy sky, had stopped him cold. "That's us," Javier had said with a grin, and Marcus, usually guarded, had laughed for the first time in weeks. Now, Javier leaned closer, his voice soft but fierce. "You're not alone in this, Marcus. We fight together." The next day, Marcus called an all-hands meeting at Pinnacle's headquarters. Employees packed the auditorium, nervous whispers filling the air. Marcus took the stage, no notes, just truth. "I didn't build this company to play by their rules," he said. "I built it for us, for the dreamers, the outsiders, the ones told they don't belong. We're not stopping. We're doubling down." The room erupted in cheers, but not everyone was convinced. A senior VP, Ellen Carter, cornered him after. "Marcus, you're gambling everything. The investors are spooked. If you don't stabilize this, Pinnacle's done." Marcus met her gaze. "Then we find new investors, ones who believe in us." Ellen shook her head but didn't argue. She'd been one of the few to support him from the start. A 45-year-old single mom who'd clawed her way up from nothing. Marcus trusted her, but he knew the clock was ticking. The weeks that followed were chaos. Investors pulled out, stock prices tanked, and the media painted Marcus as a volatile wild card. But he wasn't backing down. He and Ellen worked around the clock, pitching to new investors, diverse, forward-thinking funds who saw Pinnacle's potential. Meanwhile, Javier was Marcus's anchor, cooking late-night tacos in their loft, blasting music to drown out the noise of doubt. One night, as they danced in the kitchen to old salsa tunes, Javier paused, his eyes serious. "What if this doesn't work? What if they win?" Marcus pulled him close, the rain outside a steady hum. "They don't get to win. Not when we're fighting for something bigger than them." But the fight wasn't just external. Marcus's mother, Clara, called from Oakland, her voice heavy with worry. "I'm proud of you, baby, but this is scaring me. You're out there, so open, and the world's not kind to men like you." Marcus's chest tightened. Clara had always supported him, even when he came out at 17. But her fear was real, a reminder of the stakes. "I'm okay, Ma," he said. "I've got Javier. I've got a plan." The plan was bold. A new AI platform, codenamed Horizon, designed to empower marginalized entrepreneurs. Marcus poured everything into it, working with a small team of loyal coders. But the old board wasn't done. Harold Vance, humiliated by his firing, was rallying ex-investors for a hostile takeover. At a crucial pitch meeting in San Francisco, Marcus faced a room of skeptical faces. A venture capitalist, Priya Sharma, 38, leaned forward. "Why should we bet on you, Marcus? You fired your board. That's not stability." Marcus didn't flinch. "Stability is a myth when you're fighting for change. Bet on me because I've never lost a fight I believed in." Priya's eyes softened, but she didn't commit. As Marcus left, rain soaking his coat again, he felt the weight of it all. Javier was waiting outside, umbrella in hand. "How'd it go?" Marcus sighed. They're scared. But I'm not. Javier grinned, pulling him into the rain. Then let's dance until they're not. The takeover threat loomed larger. Harold's group had secured enough shares to force a vote. Marcus had 1 week to convince the remaining shareholders to back him. He and Ellen flew across the country, meeting anyone who'd listen. In New York, a young queer investor named Taylor Nguyen, 27, non-binary, heard Marcus's pitch and leaned in. "I'm in," they said. "Not just for the tech, for what you stand for." Taylor's fund tipped the scales, but it wasn't enough. The night before the vote, Marcus sat in a hotel room, staring at projections. Javier was back in Seattle, working on a mural for a community center. "Wish I could be there," he texted. "But you're stronger than you know." Marcus didn't feel strong. He felt like the kid from Oakland again, scared he'd never be enough. But Javier's words echoed, and he pushed forward. The vote was brutal. Harold's team painted Marcus as reckless, unfit. But Marcus took the stage, voice steady. "Pinnacle isn't just a company. It's a promise to every person who's been told they don't belong. I'm not perfect, but I'm fighting for us. Are you?" The room was silent. Then slowly hands raised. Shareholders, employees, even Ellen, who doubted but never left. The vote swung in Marcus's favor barely. Harold's face was stone as he left. Marcus had won, but the cost was heavy. Pinnacle's stock was still shaky, and whispers of doubt lingered. That night, Marcus flew back to Seattle. Javier met him at the airport, pulling him into a hug that felt like home. "You did it," Javier whispered. "Not yet," Marcus said, "but we're close." Horizon launched 3 months later, a platform that gave small businesses, especially those owned by women, people of color, and LGBTQ+ entrepreneurs, tools to compete with the giants. It was a hit, pulling Pinnacle back from the brink. The stock soared, and Marcus's gamble paid off. But the real victory wasn't the numbers. It was the letters flooding Pinnacle's inbox. From a queer baker in Atlanta, a black designer in Chicago, a transcoder in Austin, all saying Horizon had changed their lives. Marcus framed the first one, hanging it in his office. One evening, as rain fell softly outside, Marcus and Javier walked through a Seattle park. The same oak tree from their first date loomed ahead, its branches heavy with water. Marcus stopped, pulling Javier close. "I couldn't have done this without you," he said, voice thick. Javier smiled, eyes bright. "We did it together, and we're not done." They stood there, rain mingling with their laughter, the city alive around them. Marcus had faced a world that tried to shut him out, because of his skin, his love, his truth, and he'd won. Not just for himself, but for everyone who'd ever been told to wait outside. The rain slowed, and the sun broke through, painting the sky gold. Marcus took Javier's hand, and they walked on, ready for whatever came next.